from, moving from, the study of the path, understand the principles of how do you cultivate, what should you be shooting for, which I'm going over here in a basic sense, to the actual practice itself, setting up a schedule, following it with discipline, and then back and forth, back and forth. Your gung fu goes up, and back and forth you go. You study more to understand what it is, but you never hold on to any of that stuff, then bam, you can get enlightenment. I hope that's helped you. So that would conclude this little mini lesson on the first, or on the 5 stages of the cultivation path. With this, you can look at any religion and know where most people are, as well as you can look at a lot of the religions out there that people say, that was a fake religion, it was invented by some guy who's just a liar. And when you realize it doesn't have any of the higher paths, then you realize, oh my God, they might be right. Whether it's true or not, you know that now, if it doesn't have the stage of intensified practices, you're not going to get too far with it. All right? It's a waste of your time, other than helping you become a better person with moral provisioning and stopping bad deeds and doing good deeds, and you're accumulating blessings or merits for a better life, future life. But hey, look, then after that, you just bobbing up and down in reincarnation. You're never escaping birth and death. And this is a terrible situation to be in when you have the cultivation path this close to you. So, I hope the general structure of the cultivation path has been revealed, and that you can understand the 5 paths and start to apply just this, without any knowledge of Jing, Qi, Shen, chakras, and so forth, to your own spiritual cultivation. This is Bill Bodri from meditationexpert.com, and thank you for listening to this CD. Take a look at our site, hopefully for some more. This is Bill Bodri from meditationexpert.com. Thank you and welcome to this lesson on mantra practice. I have my cup of Chinese tea in front of me, so it's time for you to relax, sit back, and turn up the volume, and we'll get started on our lesson on mantra practice. Now, the reason that we have this particular lesson or CD is because quite a few people write me all the time, and they want to learn how to practice the Zhunti Mantra. Well, if I'm going to tell you how to practice the Zhunti Mantra, I'm going to tell you how to practice the Lotus Mantra, and talk to you about mantra practice in general. And the big thing for you to learn, or to know, because you always have to know the principles of cultivation practice before you begin, otherwise you're lost and you really don't know what you're doing or what you're aiming for, is to understand the purpose of mantra practice. The purpose of mantra practice is to quiet your thoughts. There are thousands of meditation or cultivation methods out there, and the whole purpose of all these practices is to help you quiet your thoughts and reach a state of inner silence or emptiness or formlessness or no thought, or basically a state where you don't hear that internal dialogue in your head anymore and you don't identify with it or with the emptiness that gets there, but you just let go of everything, and it's just what we call empty because it's empty of all that. Now, prayer, which is called japa, or japa practice in India, or prayer recitation or mantra practice, they're all, you can say, they're pretty much the same thing or very related, whatever way you want to say it. The important thing is you have to know that this is the principle that you're after. You want to, in japa or mantra practice or prayer recitation, as in Christianity, where people recite a short prayer over and over and over again for hours at a time, whether they're kneeling or sitting, to lose themselves in the prayer. If they do it right, and there is a proper way to do it, is they're doing it, so to speak, to let go of their thoughts and to reach that state or that period of that state of silence or emptiness or formlessness. That's real spiritual practice. That's the purpose. That's the entryway into the spiritual path or samadhi. So I feel very, very upset, or I feel like very poor for these people, especially in Christianity. There's lots of different types of monks out there, Cistercians, Franciscans, or whatever, that devote their lives to poverty and to practice, and they're reciting prayers over and over again, and they don't realize they're supposed to let go of the thoughts in their mind. The whole purpose of listening to the prayers that they're reciting is not to be asking for something, well, you can ask for enlightenment or the spiritual path, progress on it. What you should be doing is letting go of thoughts, letting the recitation of the sound, by listening to the sound, drum out all the thoughts so that only silence remains. and then entering into that silence. That's the entryway into samadhi, the entryway that will get you into a higher spiritual state. It's not doing ceremonies and doing pilgrimages and acts of merit. All those things are fine and dandy, but they only bring you blessings. They don't bring you actual spiritual accomplishments, because all the spiritual accomplishments that you read about, no matter what the school is, Western or Eastern, whether we're talking about Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, it all has to do with achieving mental quiet, entering into a state of samadhi or dhyana, and then hopefully just even abandoning that and reaching a state of no ego, which is real emptiness, real formlessness, which we call seeing the Tao, or enlightenment, or self-realization, where you realize there is no such thing as an ego because you're clinging to these thoughts without realizing it, that you're an ego, and there isn't really any such thing. But to get there, usually people teach you there's a bunch of spiritual practices you can try, or meditation methods. There's visualization practices, there are mantra practices, there are breathing practices. I could go on, I could give you 10, 20, 30, there's thousands of different methods. It doesn't matter, you can use anything that works as long as it's virtuous, and you know the principles, and you use it to get to that stage, okay? So there's people that have succeeded in the Eastern Orthodox Church, Catholic Church, reciting prayers over and over and over again to enter into a state of samadhi and then get actual spiritual practice. And these people can be matched with the exact same people in the East who use mantra recitation to enter into samadhi as well. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's hard to get to that state of accomplishment. And so that's the real first thing you have to know about mantra practice is, what are you doing? So what people normally do is they usually recite a mantra out loud. Like a lot of people in the East would recite it, but their minds are going a mile a minute. They're not listening to the sound. They're thinking of something else while they're doing it. Well, that's not really good practice. What you should be doing when you're reciting the mantra of any type is listening to the sound, letting go of the thoughts, and just listening to the sound until thoughts die down and the only thing you hear is the sound. And after a while, even the sound stops, and you stop mantraing, your breathing will stop, and you slow down. Mind and body until now. That's what you want. It is an entry. It's not that you have to do a certain number of mantra. Okay? Oh, I haven't done my 10,000th mantra for today, so I've entered into the state of quiet. I better keep mantraing. If you enter into that state of quiet, let go of everything. That's it. You've accomplished it. You've entered into the state that you should be. That's what you should remain abiding with. So, in Christianity, you can read how the ancient medieval monks would be in monasteries, and they say they give everything over to God. They recite their prayers and let go of even their own thoughts, because their thoughts, since they came from the self, were the embodiment of selfishness, and they wanted to let go of everything and just be one with God. Wonderful way, a fantastic way of cultivating. You use whatever psychology will work, which will help you abandon clinging to thoughts so you can reach quiet. And if mantra practice will do that for you, by all means do it. And certainly reciting mantras will also help you build up a stock of merit so you can succeed on the path. You can succeed on the cultivation path as well. So that's the basis of mantra practice. And a famous mantra from the East that the Zen school uses, and which my teacher taught, is the Zhunti Mantra. And there's a whole Zhunti recitation practice which is explained on the meditationexpert.com site. So you can go there and you can read about this, how to hold your hands and what to visualize. And the Zhunti practice is based on Zhunti Buddha, neither a male or female Buddha, because your original nature isn't male or female. That's just, something that we invented, it's fictitious thing in our mind as the whole universe is sort of maya. It's sort of a realm of illusion. Your original nature has neither male or female or hot or cold or beginning or end or anything like that. It's the best you can describe it is it's empty of all those things. That's why we say it's emptiness. So you imagine, you can visualize Zhunti Buddha when you're doing this, reciting the mantra practice. And the whole idea of this particular mantra practice is to help you achieve enlightenment. And Zhunti Buddha is credited with helping so many other Buddhas actually achieve enlightenment. So, this is a very, very powerful mantra. In fact, it's so powerful that when my teacher Master Nan Wai-Chin, Zen master, was taught the mantra, he hated it. He hated practicing it, and because he hated it, that's why he knew it was very, very powerful. And I myself also, I hated practicing this mantra, and I also knew that it was therefore powerful because I hated it. And the idea behind that is very interesting, is very easy to understand. If something, some cultivation method, is helping you and changing your fortune, you know what? It's going to be going against friction, because friction is going to try to keep you where you are, right? Opposite force is going to arise to try to push back. Well, if you're not making progress, you're not going to necessarily feel anything. But with this, boy, the fact that you hate it is showing that it's really, really, really doing something. And that's a point that I always tell people. Pick a cultivation method you hate and a method that you like. Go with the one you like, but remember, it's the ones that you hate, and you know this in regular life, even in exercise, it's the ones that you hate that really are stretching your muscles, and they're the ones that are helping you make progress. So this is the same in cultivation. And after a couple 100,000 mantra, I didn't mind it anymore, and the same thing happened with my teacher. You get used to it because you finally, it's sort of like piercing a barrier, and all of a sudden it's only positive for you, and there's no sort of pressure to not do the mantra anymore. It just happens over time. So what I did to get myself to keep doing the mantra is I copied a practice of a friend, and what he did was he had one of those silver metal clickers that you see in the library where they're counting people, you know, click, click. And every time I repeated a whole recitation of the Zhunti Mantra, I would click it. And I went through, I don't know how many clickers over the years. I stopped, using them after a while, because they all break at about 600,000 or 700,000 mantra. I could tell how many clicks I did, but by when the thing would break, because it was usually within a couple 10,000 or so mantra each time, the same number. But what you would do is, I would, or at least what I would do is, I would just click, and every day I would write down the number of mantras that I was doing. And after a while, I found that I could do a certain number per hour, and during a day, I was usually doing about 3,000 Zhunti mantra. My friend was much better than me, he was doing about 5,000. But I made sure, by memory, that I would always do at least 3,000 Zhunti mantra recitations every day before I went to sleep. I'd mark it down, and I had a book. I still have these books. I'd make up a whole book for the year, and every week there'd be one page for every week, and there'd be a line for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I would write down. I would keep track of what I would for cultivation. Right? Did I do Sisher, which is an offering from ghosts that night to help them, and also collect merit? And did I do meditation for that day? How many hours did I do meditation? All sorts of things like that. Did I do exercise? And the reason I did that was to help keep myself on track. Because I found, through studying people who succeeded in just pragmatic, whether it was trading or they were bankers or salesmen, those guys that kept a physical record that they looked at every day, monitoring their progress, are guys that kept on track. So you need some type of measuring, monitoring system so you're not cheating yourself, so you stay on track and keep to your vow, or your inner wish, or your inner promise, your inner goal to do what you wanted to do. Otherwise, you'll just get lazy at it. So this is a wonderful thing to do. And you can read the story of Liao Fan and Benjamin Franklin, who changed their fortunes, and in order to change their fortunes, they too used a measuring, monitoring system by creating a ledger where they kept track of what they did on a daily basis. And I have found that millionaires have used this, billionaires have used this type of monitoring system in some form or another. And really, if you really want to change your behavior, or you really want to make accomplishment in life, this is what you have to do. We don't all have coaches, as if we're training for Olympics, who will keep us on a training schedule. So when you have to do it yourself, you have to do your own self-monitoring, and this is the best thing to do. So every day, what I would do is, I would have a clicker, and I'd be clicking, and I'd be counting off how many mantra, and I'd make sure I did at least 3,000 a day. Some days it was 20,000 even. A lot of days 6,000, 4,000. And if I was deficient one day, I'd make sure that the next day I was over, so that it was at least a minimum of 3,000. And if I was near some number, I'd try to make sure, oh man, let me do more mantras so I finish it this month. Now, it sort of sounds silly, but this got me over that hurdle of doing mantra. So, I'm just giving you some advice for what can help you do mantra practice, because I really believe mantra practice can really help people accumulate the merit that you need for succeeding on the cultivation path. So, I mean, you can hear one of the sounds of these clickers. These are these little metal clickers you can pick up. They're about $5 or $6, that they use in libraries for counting, people that come in through the door. And, this used to bother so many people. They'd see me, walking around, clicking all the time with this sound. A lot of people would use rosary beads or mantra beads, usually which have about 108 beads on them. There's a reason for that number. But, I was using this because it was just a lot easier and the sound would keep me going. You use what works. Don't worry about what other people think. Use what works. But people got so, I think they got upset about this sound all the time. They hated it. So what they ended up doing is in Taiwan, they ended up making this little plastic counter, which they'd never made before, which was soundless. You just click on it. It would also count the mantra, electronically, which was really cool. They would also break after a certain number of mantra. But the big key is, if you're going to do mantra practice, you have to do a lot of it, and you have to just keep yourself on track. A lot of people can't do it. They have good motivation, or they have a good idea in their mind that they really want to cultivate, but it's very, very hard to keep on track. So the monitoring will help you do it, even if it just becomes mechanical. But remember, the purpose of the mantra practice is not to do a certain number of recitations, but there's a way that you mantra in reciting whatever that mantra is, whatever that sound is, whatever that prayer is, in such a way that you're listening to it while letting go, so that you quiet all the thoughts in your mind and then enter into emptiness. That's the purpose. And I feel really sad that there's so many, especially Western Christian monks today, that they're going through the steps, but they don't know that that's what they should be aiming for. So they spend all their years in practice and they don't get the results because they just don't know the principle. If you know these principles of practice, you have to mix the knowledge of the principle with the practice method itself to get the result. Then you can get Gong Fu, you can get Samadhi, you can get spiritual accomplishment. If you don't, it's like a blind cat bumping into a rat. You're just lucky if you get the result that you want. But the key is, you have to let go of your body, let go of your mind, let go of everything. And mantra is one way to do that. So, all right, what about this Zhunti Mantra practice? Well, my teacher, when he encountered it, he hated it and I hated it. So, I'm just going to tell you that. You'll probably hate it too, but that's one of the things you should do. Use a cultivation method you hate and a method that you like. A method that you like so you keep going, and a method that you hate because then you know it's working. And methods that you hate might include breathing methods, like the 9-bottled wind or the skeleton method or whatever. But any method that you hate, it's probably doing something if it dredges up all these motions that you don't really want to be facing. So that's one of the keys. So anyway, with this mantra practice, what you do is, the Zhunti Mantra is useful because it's a mantra that has helped countless Buddhas succeed in enlightenment. Not just samadhi, but enlightenment. And as my teacher says, it helps you open up the heart chakra, the Dharma chakra, which is the one that helps you realize the emptiness of the Tao. There are other mantras, there's one in Tibet I know that also helps you open up the heart chakra, and I'm sure there are methods in India as well, but a lot of the mantras that you get from India are very limited. They're for material results in life, and there's a lot of restrictions on them. Restrictions being things like you have to be vegetarian to recite the mantra, or if you're a woman, you cannot be menstruating when you're reciting the mantra. The Zhunti Mantra has no such limitations or restrictions. Anybody can recite it. And what you do is you recite the mantra and you listen to it. And a lot of people do that, but a lot of people miss a step. And one of the steps they miss is that if you can recite the mantra, do so also while you're visualizing an image of Zhunti Buddha at the location of your heart chakra, right at where your breastbone is, about 1 inch or 2 inches inside your body. It's near the center of the body, or 5 or 6 inches in front of the breastbone outside the body. And if you can visualize either a moon, a shining moon, an actual image of Zhunti Buddha, which is even more powerful, or you'll find in India what a lot of people do is they tell you to, a lot of monks will tell you to visualize a Sanskrit letter. Well, look, there's nothing special about those Sanskrit letters. You're just looking for an object of fixation that you lightly hold on to, not that will cause all your chi, because you're visualizing it, to go to that spot. And when chi masses in an area, it therefore will coalesce, or because of the friction of all the chi coming together, will start to shine or glow, and it will look like this little silver flame. And that's what will happen. So if you visualize the Zhunti Buddha there, that's what will happen in that spot. All the chi will chi entering a region where there is a nexus of chi channels will tend to open them. It's very hard to open up the heart chakra. My teacher said, he told me when he actually opened up his heart chakra, bam, the whole room exploded. You could feel it everywhere. Most people, most masters, they open up a lot of the chi channels near the heart chakra and around it, but never the heart chakra itself. It's very hard to open it up, just like it's hard to open up the head chakra. For instance, when you open up the head chakra, when he opened up his head chakra, he went blind for a couple days, and then when he got his sight back, he was seeing everything upside down until the chi had already passed all the way through the head. And not Hui Nung, but Hui Ko, the second Zen master, when the chi was actually going through his head, he wanted to commit suicide. It was so painful. And he heard a voice in the sky saying, bear it a little longer because your skull bones are switching around. And sure enough, after, it passed through, there were 5 bumps that appeared on his head. A lot of people, they think they really opened it up, their head chakra and their heart chakra and all that. But you know what? They've done a small opening. They haven't done the big opening like this. It's very, very hard to open in that. And then I could talk about opening the throat chakra, and the hips and things like that. But that's not important. So all I'm saying is that if you really want the maximum benefit of the Zhunti Mantra, what you really want to do is you want to also visualize Zhunti Buddha at your heart chakra when you're doing the recitations. Now, when you're doing the recitations of the Zhunti Mantra, or any mantra, there's 3 ways you can do it. You can do it out loud, okay, like Namo Sadona, Samyak Sampodo, Jizana, Dazo Do, Om, Jodi, Jodi, Zhunti Soha. Okay, I'm explaining things, or I'm reciting it out loud. Another way you can do it is you can sort of mumble it. And an even higher way of doing it. You're doing that after you've been doing it for hours, and you're just sort of going through it, and you're sort of in a pre-samadhi state when you're doing that. And an even higher way is just even do it mentally. The tape there was silent because I was just mentally doing the mantra. Now, it doesn't mean generate mantra sounds in your mind when your mind is empty. If your mind's already empty, don't create anything. Don't create any sounds or thoughts. You use it to drum out or let go of anything that's already there, especially if you want to change your thoughts about something, and replace it with this, and just listen to this sound. And from listening to this sound, you finally, all the other miscellaneous thoughts around it die out, and then this sound dies out itself, because you stop doing it, because you enter into this pre-samadhi state. It's sort of like tuning on a radio where, there's this, you can tune out all the other background noise and just hear this sound, and then after you're reciting it for a long period of time, even this sound, sort of the volume of it goes down because you're listening to it and you reach a state of emptiness. So remember, the whole key to this is not doing 10 million or 20 million mantra recitations, but it's to reach that state of emptiness and then enter into the Tao that way. If you can do that through 100 mantra and you never have to do it again, by all means, that's it. You've succeeded. So, that's the big key. A lot of people don't know that. And if you know that principle, then you can use the prayer of Jesus, the heart prayer. You can use what they use in Islam, and all sorts of Jewish prayers, you name it. Every religion has prayer recitations or mantra-type sounds that people recite over and over again. A lot of them have the ah sound, like Alleluia, Amen, Yehovah, and so forth and so on, Amitofo. And, you use these sounds to quiet your mind and enter into samadhi. All right, so let's go over the Zhunti Mantra sound. All right, now, what I want you to do is listen to me, but then you write down what you think I'm saying using your own transliteration. People say, well, write it down for me. Well, I can't write it down for you because, like the first sound, Namo, you have to write down what is the sound Namo to you. Is it N-A-M-O or N-A-M-O-H? What is it? I don't know. You have the best way of writing it down. So listen to the sound. I'm going to repeat these over and over again until you get it. And then on your own, what you can do is recite this about 100, 150 times, and then 150 times, and then you'll have it memorized. It only takes that many times. And usually what people do is when they're first learning the mantra, they learn it in groups so that they can get into the rhythm of it, and then they've learned how to mantra. But let's go with this transliteration. Go with this transliteration yourself. You can make up your own shorthand for what the sound is. And don't worry about whether you get it right or not. exactly right, because this original sound was written down probably in Sanskrit, and then it was changed because Chinese can't get that, and now they're using English. So yeah, we're getting that. What I'm doing is approximate, but it's good enough for you to make the connection with Zhunti. As my teacher said, these mantras are sort of a computer code. I guess he meant password, I guess, or computer code for connecting with particular Buddhas. He said, he didn't say it's a telephone number. He said it's sort of like a computer code. I don't know if he meant password, it wasn't, or computer code, so to speak, that did a certain thing. I'm not too sure. It wasn't translated to me correctly. But he's often said that. And he's also said, though a lot of people, write books about mantras and they say it works because of vibrations, he said, look, only an 8th stage bodhisattva really knows why mantra works. And an 8th stage bodhisattva, if you want to know what that is it's very simple. When you first reach enlightenment, that's called the initial stage of emptiness and realizing non-ego is called seeing the Tao, or self-realization. But there are actually 10 of these steps or stages of partial enlightenment until complete enlightenment. And when you reach the 8th stage, it means every life thereafter, wherever you're born in the universe or choose to be reborn, you'll always get enlightened. Okay, and it's very hard to reach the 8th stage. But he said the people who really understand why mantra works are the 8th stage bodhisattvas. Anyway, the sound for the Zhunti mantra goes as follows. It goes, Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto, Jitsana Dazato, Om Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha. All right, now I'm going to say this slow, I'm going to say it fast. I'll say it many times, so don't worry about it. Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto, Jitsana Dazato, Om Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha. Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto, Jitsana Dazato, Om Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha. Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto, Jitsana Dazato, Om Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha. That's how people recite it. Now there's a little extra twist to this. They often say Bodha Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto. They have that sound that sounds like Om Bodha, but actually it's a sound Om Bodhin. And it's this one word. This mantra is from the Wensu City or Banjirzi, the Wisdom Buddha, which is added to this particular mantra at the end of each cycle. So it goes Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto, Jitsana Dazato, Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha, Bodha Namo Sadona. A lot of people call it Bodha, but it's really Om Brin. Now, let's go through this syllable by syllable. The first line goes, Namo Sadona. Namo Sadona. Namo Sadona. And the second line, so to speak, goes, Samyal Sampodo. Samyal Sampodo. Samyal Sampodo. Some people say to. Samyal Sampodo. Or Samyal Sampodo. It's up to you. It depends on their own transliteration. Jitsana Dazato. Jitsana Dazato. Some people say Jitsana Dazato. Some people say Jutsana Dazato. Jutsana Dazato. Om Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha. Om Jiri Joli Zhunti. Zhunti is the name of the Buddha. Soha. So we have Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto, Jitsana Dazato, Om Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha, Om Rin. Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto, Jitsana Dazato, Om Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha, Om Rin. Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto, Jitsana Dazato, Om Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha, Om Rin. Namo Sadona, Samyal Sampoto, Jitsana Dazato, Om Jiri Joli Zhunti Soha. You will get into your own rhythm for reciting this. But usually what people do is they sometimes go on Zhunti mantra retreats for a week or 3 days or 12 days where they're just reciting this over and over again, 8 hours, 12 hours a day. And let me tell you, you'll pick it up rather quickly. But here's one of the rules for mantra recitation. When you recite it, okay, and you have to take a breath, swallow your saliva, and wait till your saliva goes all the way down and hit your stomach, and then start up again. All right? So if you hear me go, Namo Sadona, Jitsana Dazato, Om, I swallowed, waited till the swallowing of the saliva went all the way down to the stomach, and then kept mantraing during that time. You see what I mean? A lot of people don't do that. They just mantra right away. Wait until the saliva goes all the way down, because you have to wait until your chi, okay, goes down. Now, a lot of people are jumping with mantra. Look, if the purpose is to calm your mind and calm your body, you can't be like that. Remember, you want your whole body, all the chi in your body, to become peaceful with mantra practice. So, if you're not having deep breaths, if you're just breathing in halfway down your lungs and you're not letting go of your whole body, you're going to be jumpy like that. You're not getting any benefit. You're getting blessing merits from reciting the mantra, but you're not getting any cultivation attainment. You're not, getting one step closer in terms of cultivation. So, that's the basic gist of the Zhunti mantra. You sit there in a cross-legged position, and there's a whole sadhana, or there's a whole practice method, which is on the site. And you put your hands in this special position, and then you can recite Namo Sadhana Samya Sampodo Jizana Dazoto Zeri Jodi Samti Sam Namo Sadhana Samya Sampodo Jizana Dazoto Zeri Jodi Samti Sam. And you keep doing this over and over and over again, listening to it. Don't be thinking of what's on TV, what are you going to do tomorrow. The whole idea is to listen to the sound within your head, and even better is to listen and visualize the image of shining Zhunti Buddha in where your heart chakra is, or the image of a flame or a moon, or a very auspicious, bright image where the heart chakra is, because you want to, at the same time, bring your chi to the heart chakra to open it up, because the Zhunti mantra is one of the few mantras that can help open up the heart chakra so that you can attain enlightenment. And that's why they call Zhunti Buddha the Buddha of, or the mother of the Buddhas, because so many have succeeded with this. Okay, with this particular mantra in this method. Zhunti either discovered these sounds and put them together, or this is the computer code to get in touch with Zhunti. I really don't know how it works, but all I can tell you is a lot of people have succeeded with this particular method, and that's what I'm passing on to you. Now, there's another thing about the Zhunti mantra. The Zhunti mantra is the mantra that can help you change your fortune. There's a lot of mantras out there, particularly in India. The astrological mantras, or the Vedic mantras for the planets, like Mars and Jupiter and so forth. And there's other mantras to produce material results in our world. But the Zhunti mantra is a mantra to help you change your fortune or accomplish things and unravel karma at a very, very high level. That's not just in this life, that goes across many lives. So if you really want something and you keep concentrating on it, when you concentrate on it and do the Zhunti mantra, you tend to get it. My teacher always jokes, mantra 10 million times, you can become a general. Do it 20 million times, you can become the president. But of course, you'd have to really have samadhi to be able to, build up a stock of merit to be able to accomplish something like that. But the big key is, remember, the Zhunti mantra is a mantra to use to help you achieve samadhi, quiet the mind. If you listen to it, forget about everything else, just listen to the sound, and also achieve enlightenment. Not too many mantras can make that. You can't make that claim about many mantras. But you also have to know how to use the mantra. And the purpose of any mantra is you listen to the sound within and let go of everything. It's as the Christian monks would say, they let go of everything and give everything over to God so that there's nothing of them left. They don't hold on to anything.